Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins here. We got a special report for you tonight. UFOs are on the rise and we're bringing you the disclosure as it happens. So buckle up, everybody. We also have a sneak peek in a conversation we had with the panel, Dr. Greer, Michael Schratt, James C. Goodall, and John D'Souza. But first, let's get to the latest UFO sighting right now. Watch this. Popocatépetl is lighting up. Mexico is some kind of magnet for UFOs, especially over active volcanoes. And here's again more evidence of the phenomenon as it happens. Brett, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is crushing it with the UFO videos tonight. We're super stoked. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Jaime Maussan gave us an update about some activity over Popocatépetl. What are we looking at? Is this a meteor falling out of the sky and explodes over the volcano itself? This is great footage. What are we looking at? Could this be, again, this mountainside, this range, this area is so hot. The activity of UFOs is off the hook around Popocatépetl. Is it a magnet for UFOs?
Absolutely. That is the big question. And again, as we keep looking at this a little closer, I'm seeing some kind of impact almost on the volcano itself. Again, multiple eyewitnesses to the event. Here's another angle. It explodes right above it. But what's interesting, the phenomena is active around this certain region, this particular volcano known as Popocatépetl. And look at this, that just shot above the mountain there, the volcano. This one goes directly within the caldera. That one's absolutely stunning, and more evidence of the phenomenon captured within the webcams de Mexico. And we want to appreciate Jaime Maussan for giving us the heads up, and the activity is off the hook. We're seeing them come in from directions, up, down, left, right. Again, the caldera seems to be a magnet. Is there some kind of energy that could be harnessed from these craft if ET in nature have figured out to harness the energy from the volcanic geothermals or maybe the lava itself? It's interesting. But again, boom, right above Popocatépetl, along with all these other forms of light. The phenomenon is strong with this location. And guys, we appreciate you joining us in this premiere. We have even more videos for you, but this one's kind of different from other videos we've received. Is there a paranormal or biological entity that has made its appearance on a security cam in a neighborhood? It gets the dogs, the security dogs, or the family pets' attention. This video is kind of mind-blowing, so take a close look at this.
familiar to them. I love the dog's reactions. You can see that they take guard on what they're doing. Again, this video is showing the objects is kind of appearing, and this thing's transparent, and it just drifts off the side of the camera there. But look at this thing just float in, and it takes a pause as it basically gets right to the surface, and it's great seeing the dog just come in and they show their initial reaction.
Everybody, that we were able to get this documentary out. We were able to get it in a way to, I think the public is going to be amazed by what they see and the knowledge they're going to get. But working with all of you was just, again, just, it was so liquid, and the way it just flowed and the information and how we put it together, my brother and I, and editing, it was just, is satisfying, but it's frustrating as well, just because of, again, this technology that's being hidden. Hey, Jim, we're just getting into the discussion in regards to basically, can the public handle it? You know, there's been so much information. These Hollywood movies have been making these extraterrestrials look like the evil ones. You know, maybe E.T. was the only safe movie out there as far as dealing with E.T. Maybe they should make more E.T. movies. I'm not sure, but you know, if you ask me, if our government showed us a photograph of some extraterrestrial craft that looked pretty insane and said we're not alone, straight up, and the public would know, there would be some anxiety behind it. Like, what is their agenda? Being so brainwashed watching all these horror movies with extraterrestrials. Jim, would you be able to handle it no matter what the craft looked like?
Oh, absolutely. Or even, I mean, if all of a sudden, if I'm walking in the back of my, out behind my house at night, and all of a sudden one of these characters or creatures or ETs were to approach me, and they're pretty bizarre looking, I don't know how I'd react. But in broad daylight, if they were to land one at Tucson International or Davis Monthan, and I was invited, I would be thrilled. I mean, but there are people who cannot deal with even the thought of we're not alone. I honestly believe if they were hostile, you and I, the five of us, would not be having this discussion right now, because we'd be under their heel of their big, knob nail boot, telling us what we're going to do, how we're going to think, what we're going to eat, and if you don't like it, we're going to feed you to the wolves. So, no, I have no fear from ET. And again, if in fact, if they were hostile, we'd have known this a long time ago. I mean, there wouldn't have been a Civil War, there wouldn't have been a Revolutionary War, there wouldn't have been World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, and the insanity is going on right now.
Right. Well, no, and I 100% agree, and I think that the fear factor that's been pushed out there is a way of people being shut down, because fear shuts down the mind. It shuts down the spirit. Fear overrides rational thought, and it's a very clever thing to use. And demagogues and tyrants throughout history have used that tactic, and I think they've used it very well, and I say very well in a negative way, on this subject, on the public, through the movies and what have you. And when we released Cosmic Hopes on July 4th of 2021. Our purpose in that was to expose. In fact, I just interviewed a man today who was working in a very compartmented operation with this issue, who was personal witness to a man-made sort of triangular, truncated cutoff on one end, triangular electrogravitic, electromagnetic field propulsion craft that then released 3 grays that proceeded to try to abduct him. It was a very important case. And he knew that the craft and these creatures were man-made. And they were all moving in unison and rather robotically. I said, oh, yeah. I know physicists who worked on developing those creatures. And these are the ones that are always on the cover of books and movies and movie posters that look like the classic stereotypical alien. In point of fact, that's a counterintelligence operation, and we know it, and we're providing that detail of information to the people in the government who are looking into this, because they don't know what to make of it. And I think that that's part of well, it began in the early 50s, the so-called psychological warfare effort on this matter, and it went from sort of a clumsy stagecraft using early man-made aircraft that looked like UFOs, and guys that were short or had some kind of appearance that could then be augmented with stagecraft and makeup to scare people thinking they were alien, to now these very advanced kind of robotic nanobio machines. We don't have time to go into that. There are a number of people I work with who've been in those programs, not only tactically using them on innocent civilians, but have also been in places where they built them and made them. So this is one of the problems with the whole UFO subculture and the public, is that it's 9 parts in 10 stagecraft created by counterintelligence operations, and we have to separate the wheat from the chaff on all that.
Michael Schretz, the investigator here, in regards to the historical evidence, dates back over 100 years. And these eyewitnesses have a lot of things in common, where some of these craft that have been historically documented seem to be man-made. Rivets, bolts, electrical systems. We have pipings, coolant systems underneath the craft. What's your thoughts on what Greer just said and kind of the discussion overall? But again, this man-made element, people, have been misled by the major media that it's a threat. We don't know what they are. We don't know. We can't possibly do these kind of maneuvers, or this technology is out of our hands. But then again, there's these reports that go back decades of these craft that seem man-made. What's your thoughts on it? Is it something that we maybe have, figured it out?
Well, the situation is as follows, and it's reached a point now where it's seamless, and anything short of the physical evidence pertaining to the crash retrievals, and we're just spinning our wheels. We can no longer afford these CE1 cases where it's a light in the sky. We really need to progress forward with the crash retrieval evidence, and that's what's going to move this field forward. Anything less than that, we're just spinning our wheels. And I'll give you an example. We still can't even get the 1957 Gordon Cooper Edwards Air Force Base film released after all this time. And here we've got the Defense Department dripping these documents over decades of time. We just don't have time for this. We really need to get down to business. So
Right.
Time is of the essence. Yeah.
Right. And that's why we need specific, actionable intelligence
Correct.
and people who've been on the inside to give these investigators and folks I'm working with the precision with what is. For example, and I don't want to mention the gentleman's name, but there was a man who from 2002 to 2012 was in the technology management office in the Pentagon subbasement. And, he was in charge of an investigation. I won't go into the details here, but this is being handed off to these folks in the government that I've been meeting with. And out at Fort Sill and near Lawton, Oklahoma, he was escorted into and can name and put the people exactly in the location of where one of these retrieved extraterrestrial vehicles is located, and what they were working on and studying at that particular site for that particular vehicle. That is what I'm talking about. So I want to give that as a specific example. This is fairly new intelligence, and I think that we need to all open up our networks and have folks come forward who can provide exactly what you, Michael, are referring to. Now, I'm not saying that anyone, that we're not going to go in and sort of invade that deep underground military base or in SCIF. The other thing is that because these projects have been declared unconstitutional and illegal, and we can prove they are,
big statements and definitely a big panel. Again, we're going to be showcasing this entire interview with Dr. Stephen Greer, Michael Schratt, James C. Goodall, John D'Souza. It's going to be an incredible ride, and we're going to be releasing it right here on Third Phase of Moon, April 5th, along with the documentary Above Top Secret that's going to be premiering worldwide. It's going to change the paradigm shift in regards to this phenomena that's happening right now across our planet. And let me tell you, I think people are going to have a different view on things in regards to this technology. There is something being hidden from us. There is a black box with technology that is above top secret that hasn't been declassified and given to us, the people. Certain things obviously need to be classified. Don't get me wrong. I agree with classifying things in regards to military assets and not letting our enemies know what we have in our possession. But there is technology that could change the world overnight to help us get past this fossil fuel and energy cost. It's continuing to rise, but there is, again, in my opinion, technology that could power our cars, power our homes, and the cost would be basically zero. There would have to be some kind of implementation of the infrastructure, but from what we're hearing, it wouldn't take too long. Like I said, things could change overnight. So appreciate you guys joining us. Get the word out. Above Top Secret. It's available April 5th, 2022 on all streaming services. We appreciate everybody in the chat joining us tonight. You guys rock. Blake Cousins, we'll see ya next time.
If the crash retrievals are true, then all bets are off.
it's very hard for people to get their minds around where the real power is. And it's not at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The reality is something much more stark.
They've been working on this for 60, 70, perhaps 80 years.
The reason why the government is talking about these UFOs now, they're getting ready for the next level of war.
Are these objects a national security concern?
They're proffering a narrative of a national security threat that doesn't exist.
I call them alien reproduction vehicles. They're made by private corporations somewhere on this planet.
Technology from Roswell from 1947 has largely been held back from us.
Portal technology, teleportation, whatever you can imagine, it's already been done.
The biggest secrets are not the zero-point energy and electrogravitics. It's the science of consciousness. All their communication systems are moving through the consciousness field and are thought actuated. The people at the CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic. The transdimensional interstellar technology will benefit humanity.
There has been tremendous disinformation.
The media is keeping secrets with the government.
These are lethal, vicious people. And I'm focused on exposing the extraordinary technologies that they want to keep secret. No aspect of life on Earth will be unaffected by it.